My mom and dad both died of lung cancer. As you can tell, I'm fairly young as it is, so they were fairly young when they died, and of course I was even younger. So it was a shock. Now my mom predeceased my dad by approximately 10 years. And she was the first person that I was really close to who died on me. So I was completely unprepared. And it's not like you can really prepare for someone you love to die. But we knew it was coming. They gave her 3 months to a year. Now she did opt for 3 months, but still, we had a deadline. We were aware. I should have known. But it wasn't until after she was gone that I started regretting. I regretted most of all not stopping and slowing things down and looking at my mom and just trying to take a snapshot, just trying to capture her in my memory. So a few years later, when my dad got diagnosed, I was on it. I was not going to let the same thing happen. I started watching him like a hawk. I interviewed him on video, I watched his movements, I observed. I tried my best to cement him in my memory. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my dad. He was the most intellectual man I have ever known, even though he never went to college. He read every book ever written. He was a fan of classical music. He never missed a masterpiece theater, and he listened to NPR incessantly. He was also born and raised in New Jersey, grew to manhood in the Navy, so he could, and regularly did, swear like a sailor. And to do his memory justice, I am about to do the same. Yeah, it's gonna be bad. So seriously, if you have a problem with swear words, you might want to step out or cover your ears. My dad was a cussing artist. He could swear from A to F like nobody's business. But he had 3 favorites that he employed more often than any others. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, get the fuck out of here, and what the fuck. And each one of these had that sort of primal meaning, the very easy to interpret meaning, the most obvious meaning, and then they also had this secondary level that my dad knew. It was more nuanced, and if you knew him well, you understood it on both levels. And of course, each one came with its own physical tick as well. Motherfucker, or as my dad would say, motherfucker, was something in the more obvious way that he would say if he was in great pain, like if he stubbed his toe. Motherfucker! But also it was his way of accepting that he had made a grave, horrible mistake. Like if he filled in the wrong line of the New York Times crossword puzzle. In pen, you know, what else could you say if not motherfucker? And then get the fuck out of here, or as he would say, get the fuck out of here, was, you know, it was a literally sort of, get away from me, get the fuck out of here. But it was also like if you tried to give him something unacceptable, like runny eggs or overcooked pasta or ketchup for his meat products, get the fuck out of here. And then there was the creme de la creme, what the fuck. This was, of course, the sort of existential question, like, what's with all this traffic? I mean, what the fuck? But it was also a sort of passive-aggressive way he had of letting you know that he thought you were being moronic. Like, the time I tried to get him to watch the Jim Gaffigan special, I mean, you know, I think the guy is funny, but my dad was like, he's talking about Hot Pockets? You think this is funny? What the fuck? So obviously my dad had a certain eloquence to him, And so it was really tragic towards the end. In the last week of his life, he became mostly nonverbal. He was reduced to sort of one-word answers, grunts, yeahs, no's. My brother, my sister, my uncle, and I, we were all around his bedside for the last few days, partly, on death watch, and partly because I think we were all hoping to get our dad back, just for a little while, to hear my dad's voice once more. And a couple days before he died, he did start talking, and we all leaned in close to hear what he was saying, but he was really just mumbling, and it was nonsense, and so we didn't get that final, eloquent statement that we were looking for. On his last morning, he woke up and he kind of grunted, pee, and if he can't figure it out, it meant he had to go potty. So my dad wasn't able to walk at that point, so my dad, my uncle and my brother propped my dad up on the edge of the bed and got him prepared to do his business. And then my sister and I kind of took a couple steps back, give him a little privacy. And then my dad just sat there. He didn't open his eyes, he didn't lift his head, he didn't pee. So my uncle said, Dave, you gotta take a whiz? No response. My brother said, Dad, you gotta pee? No response. Now, my sister had little kids at the time, so she was used to being a mom. She knew what to do. She took a couple steps forward, she leaned in, and she said, Dad, do you have to go pee-pee? You gotta make pee-pee? And in that moment, my dad rallied. He lifted his head, he opened his eyes, he looked directly at my sister and said, what the fuck? And then he peed. He died later that day without uttering another word. And for me, I am so grateful because really, I have the most perfect snapshot cemented in my brain. And my dad, well, I know my dad, and I know that he is so pleased with himself for leaving us with what the fuck.